Welcome to the podcast live on EFL Radio. We talk through, of course, football, cricket and NFL, Jan, and a lot to talk about. England versus India in the cricket. You've got the Saturday fixtures coming up for the football and, of course, a blockbuster trade in the NFL. Jan, over to you.
Well, Alex, it has been a brilliant trade in the NFL. We've got lots to talk about on cricket and football. So if you want to hear about them, please stay with us. We are the UK Lions, otherwise known as Technical Difficulties Radio. I am myself, the Dark Shadow. You'll never know what my name is, and I'm joined by Alex. Alex, how are you feeling about this?
Yes, excited. First time recording on the app, so yeah, hopefully this goes well. Of course, we are known for technical difficulties, but yeah, and I assume we'll start with cricket. England versus India. You've been following this one, but India won the recent test by 317 runs. The score is 1-1, with the man of the match being Ravichandran Ashwin. Yeah, and what have you thought of the test so far?
Well, yes, Alex, I've definitely been that fan who has woken up every morning at about 4 o'clock just to watch the cricket. And, the first test, it went brilliantly. We thrashed India. Then crowds came back. We went under pressure a little bit. And, it was the other way. We got thrashed by India. And, there were some headlining performance, though, on the India. Ashwin and Axar, both spinners on the day, creating fine spin on the ball and combining to get all the wickets they needed to beat England, obviously beating them by 329 runs. So they were the starring players on the Indian side, Alex. And, with Axar coming in on his debut, it really was a debut to remember. And on the England side, not really any standout performances, but you could argue that Moeen Ali put on the best performance, collecting, I think it was 4 wickets for 53, I think his figures were, in the second part. And, he's a good player, but unfortunately, I think about a day ago, he announced that he will be going back to England and won't finish the test in India. And his quote was to get out of the bubble. Now, this was quite alarming because I think, in India, it's quite a spinning pitch. And we saw that at Chennai. Will we see that in the stadium they're playing on tomorrow? I do not know. But really, it's quite gutting to hear that because I think we might struggle without Moeen Ali, especially in these conditions, and especially, his performance last time out. But we've got to hope for the best. We've got Joe Root, who on his day can be amazing and has really stepped up this year. And we have got some others, Stuart Broad, the swinger, will also want to make a difference here. But, it's up to them, Alex. I mean, we don't know what the wicket's going to be like, and maybe India can win it again, obviously, captained by Virat Kohli, very successful against Australia. I think a magical comeback to remember on the Boxing Day test when they played Australia, Alex. So they are a very good test team and a very good all-round team if you're thinking T20 test and one-day matches. So my prediction, Alex, I think it will go India's way. I don't think it would be as thrashing as it was last time, but I do think it's going to go India's way. And I don't know why. Something tells me, maybe Moeen Ali going might have an impact on the camp. We don't know, but I think Zach Crawley, obviously tripping in the changing rooms and breaking his finger, might be back in this test. So that's something to watch, Alex. And he's an exciting young prospect. And in the summer as well, against Pakistan, I think it was, I remember him getting a very high score on his debut. So he's an exciting one to watch on the England side of things. But I can only see this going India's way. Alex, back to you.
Yes, Jan, you spoke about quite a lot of things. We'll mention Moeen Ali, very interesting decision to move back to the UK and leave the test. I've just been reading an article saying Curran will not be in the test. He remains out. I believe that's injured. But yeah, it's been a great battle watching Stokes v Ashwin, the bowler and the batter. Both been playing really well. Ben Stokes trying to win the test to England, trying to win the entire thing. And he's been playing really well. Of course, we saw him do so well in the World Cup for England. And he's hoping he can just carry on that form. But he has been against Ashwin, who has batted really well, Jan. 106 in India's second innings of 148 balls. So a great strike rate, well over 50%. But Ashwin and Kohli were a great partnership. And they were hard to break down for the England bowlers. And I am looking at this. And it is Moeen Ali, who was England's top bowler. Quite a spin pitch, as you mentioned, Jan, in Chennai. But Moeen Ali, of course, it's a huge drop for England. To have their star bowler go back, it's always going to hurt. They need to keep going. They need to not let them let down. Another player who we haven't mentioned who played quite well was Jack Leach. Some of you will remember him from, I believe it was him in the greatest one not out. I'm not entirely sure there. But that's what some of you have been texting us about whilst we've been recording. But yeah, Jan, so I think it's going to be a great game. Definitely one to watch in the cricket. And yeah, I think we'll move over to the football, Jan, but is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, all I want to say is Ashwin, age 32, he's a bowling all-rounder, but he really showed his batting quality in the last test. So it's ones like him and Virat Kohli in the batting side of things. Obviously, you got Bumrah and you've got Bumrah and Sharma, who can, produce the fast in-swinging and out-swinging balls. So, this will be good to see. The wicket, obviously, if it will be, crusty, maybe more in favour of the spinners, or, if the bowlers, if the fast bowlers can step up, obviously, on England's side, we've got Stuart Broad, and we've got other bowlers that can, turn up. Obviously, Jofra Archer's injured. And Anderson, Alex, I just want to briefly touch on him. He was rested in the last test, but he might be coming back. And he's very good. I mean, over 600 wickets now for England. And really, if it is a swinging pitch, Alex, we could be seeing a very exciting Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson combo. Brings back nostalgia. But that's all I want to say. But as I said, I am going for an India win here, because I think Ashwin, he's very good and he's on form. Looking at his Australia stats as well. Bumrah, he hasn't been doing brilliantly, Jasprit Bumrah. Obviously had his ups and downs. His ups definitely being in the World Cup. He was brilliant there. Yadav, also good bowler. Who also produced the spin, and Sharma, the swinging bowler, bowls right arm fast medium. He could do something he hasn't before, but he is their go-to bowler for that. So yeah, that's what I want to touch on the cricket, and obviously, moving to football, Alex.
Yes, thank you for that, Jan. I'm also just thinking India will edge it, but some really good games in the Premier League. One to mention is Liverpool versus Everton. The Merseyside derby. I've been to Anfield. You can see Goodison Park from inside the stadium. But yeah, 3 points between the teams. Both teams going for European football. The Premier League title does look out of sight for Liverpool, who I thought at the beginning of the season would go on to win it. Everton, no, it's been a great season for them, Jan. But in one way, you could say this is Liverpool's greatest chance of beating, Everton's greatest chance, of beating Liverpool. But Carlo Ancelotti is a great manager. They've been putting in some great results, and Liverpool should be scared. And I'm looking at the expected lineups here. It could be really interesting. Kabak put a nightmare debut behind him with an assured display against Leipzig in this week. Klopp will feel more confident in the youngster now. He has got over his bad spell. But Jan, I actually think Everton might have a chance of getting a result from this one. So I do think Liverpool, just with that front three of Mane, Firmino and Salah, if that is the front three that plays, I do think they will take the win. And I am going to say Liverpool 2, Everton 1.
Yes, well, thank you for that, Alex. Briefly touching on the Merseyside derby, what a game we have. And, Everton haven't been doing brilliant, obviously losing last time out to Fulham. Liverpool, on the other hand, have been very poor, very, very poor. really, not what you'd expect of a title challenging team. And we'll look at their form. They've lost the last three. They haven't won in their last three games, obviously, winning two and losing three in their last 5 games. Everton, on the other hand, a bit inconsistent, but at the same time, not that great. They've won one, lost three, and drawn one. So this would be really interesting to see how it pans out here. And, Everton, they're not known for beating Liverpool. Like, they haven't, I can't remember any upsets, really. I mean, I can remember draws, but not really upsets on the Everton side of things. But, if they are going to beat Liverpool, this is really the time to do it. And we look at their predicted lineups for Everton. Obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been the star or the star man in the last couple of games, and it looks like he will be playing, so that he could prove a threat up front. We'll look James Rodriguez, Richarlison. So yeah, Alex, I mean, it's touch and go here. Everton losing last time out to Manchester City, and before that Fulham. So it will be interesting to see. But as I said, Alex, they are playing Calvert-Lewin, who is hot on form, and if Everton were to beat Liverpool, now's the time, and I'm sure their fans will be licking their lips. Moving on to Southampton and Chelsea on the Solent, my team, playing the filthy scummers of the Saints, Alex. And really, what we've seen from Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea, we've seen a complete transformation. Look back at the Lampard years, we weren't doing very well. And, got to be real, we were, I think, third, off to a brilliant start in the season, and just went down and down and down, slipped down. And eventually that resulted in Frank Lampard getting the boot. But ever since Tuchel has come in, we've been doing brilliantly, if I say so myself. And we look at the pre-game form, Chelsea have won their last 4, Alex, and before that drawing. So they are unbeaten in 5. Southampton, on the other hand, losing all of their 5 games. Obviously, they have started their season well, Southampton, but, as the season has progressed, Ralph Hasenhüttl is looking like he might be losing his team, the bus. And this has resulted in their last 5 matches, Alex, being all losses. And I think their high point was definitely beating Liverpool. But for this one, Alex, I can only see a Chelsea win here, not being biased. I can, and I also think that Werner will be hot on confidence, obviously, getting a lot of chances in the last game against Newcastle and bagging one of them, his first since October. So I can see he will be licking his lips as well, Alex, to put some past the Southampton goalie of McCarthy. So I think, Alex, I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Chelsea here. We're just looking at the stats. 72% of you do think Chelsea will win this, with only 12% in favour of the Saints. But Alex, I can only see another Chelsea win. What do you think?
Yes, I also think Chelsea will win that 1-0, but their performances have been very good recently. They've been dominating the other team. But Jan, just going to quickly say before we go on to the NFL, another key game to watch out for is at the Emirates. Arsenal taking Manchester City on. Manchester City are now 10 points clear above Manchester United at the top of the table. They are the favourites to go ahead and win it. And looking at Arsenal, they sit in 10th place with 34 points. They are now 32 points. Sorry, they are 22 points below Man City. I think Man City, winning their last 5 games on a great bit of form, should be able to win this. And we'll briefly touch on NFL, Jan, where there has been a blockbuster trade. Carson Wentz, the former Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. We say former because he has joined the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes, to all of you NFL fans out there, we do a bit of NFL at the end. Me and Alex do like a bit of NFL, don't we? I just want to briefly touch, yes, Manchester City's form has been brilliant, breaking the record. 17 wins on the trot in a row for Pep Guardiola's side. And I observed them against Everton, Goodison Park, I think on Wednesday, Alex. And, they're just a joy to watch. They what Liverpool would have been. And, Manchester City, every team, Alex, it seemed in the Premier League had their ups and downs, and Liverpool, were going 6 points clear at one time after beating Crystal Palace 7-0. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, Liverpool are going to win the league, but that was not the case. And as you said, Liverpool do sit below them, quite a way below them as well in terms of points. Manchester City really extending their lead, 10 points clear, and I can see Manchester City winning the league now. I can't see any other team coming back. So, yeah, obviously Manchester City, I'm going to go for 3-0 against Arsenal. I think Arsenal, we might see a little crumble from them. But I am going to go for 3-0 or 3-1. I'm going to be generous to Arsenal. I'm going to be generous to the Gunners. I'm going to go 3-1. But, and could it be another Gundogan masterclass? Obviously, De Bruyne coming in, which, Alex, just makes me a bit more embarrassed, adding on, the quality in the team they possess. I don't like Manchester City, but they are a good team. Moving on to NFL, what we do at the end, Alex, yes, Carson Wentz has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts after 4 good years, you could say, at the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, he led them in 2018, I think it was, to the Super Bowl. Nick Foles actually, took the captaincy on the Super Bowl, but he did lead them to that. And he is a very good quarterback, I think, Alex. There's a documentary on Amazon Prime, and I think it's called All or Nothing Philadelphia Eagles. But, that really kind of goes deep into how good he is. And obviously there was a lot of hype about him as well. And, Carson Wentz, he's a brilliant player. But I kind of think as the Philadelphia Eagles began to decline, he wasn't really well suited to the team. And now he's moved to the Indianapolis Colts, quite a young team, forgetting their old quarterback of Rivers, quite a young team, and also possessing great potential, Alex, the Colts. So I really think they could possibly push for the playoffs in the next season with Carson Wentz at the wheel. So that's all good on that front. Back to you.
Yes, the Eagles have got a great youngster in Jalen Hurts ready to take the step up. And of course, an early draft pick, they could bring in the likes of Justin Fields. It will be really interesting to see what the Eagles do in the draft, and whether they're up to maybe going for a conference title in the NFC East. Meanwhile, the coach, Jan, hinted on Philip Rivers, a long-time Chargers player, set to retire very soon. But it's going to be interesting, really. It's a good move by the Colts. They've brought in a very good quarterback in Carson Wentz. As Jan said, he had 4 very good seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's now over in Indianapolis. He's made the trip to the AFC, and they'll be hoping they can turn them into playoff winners. They'll be hoping that now, with a solid quarterback, they can at least be getting the playoffs. And I think we saw a similar thing with the previous trade where Stafford went to from the Lions to the Rams, because now people are backing the Rams to win the Super Bowl. Because, I mean, a defense is such an important part in American football. And that's what the Los Angeles Rams always had. They never had a quarterback. Jared Goff was never at the level where he could bring the Rams to where they're capable of winning the Super Bowl. Now, Jan?
Yeah.
Was that it?
What?
I finished.